you give children
Oh,
like
yeah.
be a ballerina, be this, do art, and then a certain time you're like, stop playing.
Grow up now.
Grow up.
Grow
You
up
have
now.
to
You're
go to
done
and
with
get the
that.
this and to get the education. And what happens to play? And I had to squash everything that made people like me in the beginning.
Feel like the sky is falling down. Feel like they're trying to break me down. Trying to put me 6 feet in the ground. I just want to know what's going down.
All this suppression, suppression, suppression. Fall back. Gotta deal with aggression, aggression, aggression. Ease up. No more oppression, no pressure, no pressure. No haters prosper. No weapons, no weapons, no weapons. I got a question and a lesson for you clowns. If you ain't stacking up your blessings, what the is going down?
I just want to know what's going down.
And this week in your rebellious life,
Hey.
and that's all we got.
Okay.
So, we know. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic.
Okay, moving on.
Moving on. We wanted to talk about who the hell we are and why we have any kind of authority to speak about any of
Yes.
this. And even if we didn't have authority or not, how did we come to this?
Yes.
As I've said in the first episode, rebellious is something that I came up with. I invented the word. I don't know if you.
She did.
Yes,
yeah,
right.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
But no, I came up to that because when I was making my film and I had the first gluten-free vegan bakery at one point.
First one.
The first one in Manhattan with no refined sugar, all that stuff. And both times I had to use my own money and all, there's been quite a few times in my life where I've been told, you're so rebellious. You're so brave. You're so, and it's like, I really wish I didn't have to be. I really wish I didn't have to be. I've had to be this because I just want to live. I just want to have the same opportunities, and I didn't. And I know woe is me. But I don't believe in stopping when the world tells you no. I don't buy into the things I was told about myself, about who I am, about what I can accomplish. When I was diagnosed with celiac disease, I was like 20 years into begging people to help me because I knew I was ill.
You're fine, Jennifer.
I was told.
It's all in your head.
It's all in my head. I was told everything. You're dramatic. You're a girl. You're an actress. Blah, blah, blah. I was told everything. I was tested for everything. I was given more medication than a small drug ring. But then when I found out, I was so beyond just sick that this was a real disease that almost killed me and that it was hurting so many people and that nobody was talking about it. And I felt I had to do something. And anyway, my point is that's where rebellious came from, basically.
People telling you can't do something and you going out and doing it anyway.
And because it's not about, like I've said in the first couple episodes, burn it all down and we're going to fight. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, yes, that is all it, but it's living in your truth.
Yeah. In
your truth, whatever that is. And it's very hard. And this is what I teach in all my classes in the school is called Rebel Collective. It's hard to understand what that truth is because you're so conditioned by culture to perform, to be less than, to be in the box, to be all the things likable, especially as
palatable.
Palatable. All the things that I kind of never was to someone's liking, and because of that, or because you're female, or because of whatever the becauses are, the boxes, if you're not in the elite few, you're not getting to live the life that you want. And I do not agree to that. I do not abide by it. But it makes life not easy. I will say that. So we wanted to have an episode where we learn where that comes from with me,
Yeah.
and then when we learn where that comes from with you. So I'm going to shut up now, and Kat is going to take
Don't shut
over
up.
and going to ask me all the stuff.
I'm going to ask some pertinent questions. So we, behind us, we
Yes.
have these photos of different moments in our lives
Yes.
from childhood
Oh
on.
my goodness.
And so I guess I'd like to point to some of these photos
Yeah.
and see who you were,
Oh my goodness.
what was going on in that version of your head,
Oh my goodness.
and what you thought maybe you were rebelling against at that time. So
Oof.
let's start with, let me get her here,
Which one?
her,
That
me.
one.
this one.
That one.
Yeah.
Okay. So, oh my God. I was so young. I think that was one of my first headshots, that picture. That's what over there.
Yeah.
There, right there.
It's really,
Right
I
there.
haven't mastered this yet, but right here.
Right there. That look at the thin eyebrows. My God.
It was a time. It
It was a
place.
definite time and a place. I look at her and I feel bad for her, knowing, and it sucks for the people who are just listening. Um, but that picture was one of my first headshots, and that picture, I feel I can look at her and almost feel bad for her because she was so hopeful and she
Mm.
didn't know much about the business then,
Yeah.
and she really thought it was like based on talent and based on
That's cute.
poor. Isn't that cute? Poor little
And
thing.
she wanted to make art.
She really did, but she had no language then.
Yeah.
She had no language of like what that actually meant.
Like, did that person consider themselves an artist?
No, absolutely not. I have to be honest with you. It's a hard thing to even say now. I didn't say I was an artist until after Fresh Kills.
And why is that?
Conditioning, all the people that I had been around at certain points in my career always made it very clear that they did more theater and
Ah,
they
More
were more
pretentious, if you will.
pretentious and
Sure,
more
sure.
chosen.
Yes.
And the things that they were doing
Shakespeare.
was just so much more important. And I was doing these like, and I'd always get very, I'd always feel very bad about myself because I was really, I did start in theater. I did study for a long time, but again, the conditioning and everyone's susceptible. So I felt really bad about that. But now I the 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 term artist like explains my entire life now.
Yeah, it's why
Like,
there's like 80 bulbs going off in your brain
oh
constantly.
my God, and ADHD, but also like the need to create constant, like
Or you'll go completely.
I remember a therapist said this to me, and I said this I think on one of the podcasts. I had a therapist that literally said to me I had to be like 19, and she was like, you realize that you're an artist and you have to create or you're going to be
Yeah.
very depressed. And I was like, yeah, but I'm gonna be an actress.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, poor thing.
Oh,
Poor thing.
Sure, that's another approach.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's survival for you. It really is. And knowing you, like if you're not creating,
Oh my God.
You're- yeah.
It's honestly, I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah.
Like I don't. There's really not anything else I want to do.
well, also you're quite good at it. Okay,
Oh,
so
thanks,
hi
Kat.
Jen. Okay, so then let's move to, I want to go to her. Why
Which
do I always
one?
keep pointing at myself?
That one.
You. Hi, welcome.
Yeah. Welcome.
Open the door.
Oh, I want to tell you a funny story. That was so I wound up going out to LA and I was renting a house from someone who knew someone who knew someone who knew this woman. And it was my friend and I, and we rented this house. And within a week, a lot of strange men would ring the doorbell, and I was like, no, that person isn't here. She rented us the house, and they were looking for this woman that owned
Was it Robin? Just
it
kidding.
was, that's
Go
from the
ahead.
last episode. Be clear, Kat.
If you tuned into episode 2, you'll get the reference.
That's
Okay,
right.
Continue.
This is an ongoing thing. You have to tune into every episode to
Yeah,
understand.
we leave little.
No, but that
eggs.
strange men would, and we would say why, and we found out that the woman that was living there prior was a Heidi Fleiss madam.
Oh.
So men would like randomly ring this bell.
Oh,
and
nobody-
anybody who doesn't know Heidi Fleiss, that was like she was a madam, and this girl was one of her girls and had a lot of visitors, and we had no idea. But that picture was
I feel
done.
like someone should have given you a heads up about
Probably, but no, they didn't.
that. No.
And so that picture was taken by some dude I met who was like, "Hey, I'm a photographer. Can I take your pictures?"
Really? Because it looks like it's right out of a magazine. Are you kidding me?
No. He was a photographer. He was.
No,
and
but
he-
it wasn't for anything. He was
No,
just like, hey,
no, he
pose in the door frame.
No, and I wound up using that as a headshot.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah, but
and
that was from someone who was like, "Hey, I'm a photographer."
Of course he is. He bought the camera that morning. Yeah, he's a photographer. But you look amazing as always.
really,
And look
not
at that
really.
turtleneck. For anyone who can't see, it's like a pinkish turtleneck.
It's a pinkish turtleneck, and it was. I remember I loved that turtleneck. It was vintage. I bought it like at like $15.
It's very welcoming, that photo.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, hi.
I'm
You know
just
why?
here.
You know why else it would had to be welcoming, because I was told from the time I got into the industry that I was not the girl next door. So
Which is interesting because
everybody has a neighbor. That's
Yeah.
what I said, and they didn't like that.
they didn't like that.
No, I was the ethnic choice
Aha.
all the time.
Okay.
Again, talk about the boxes, but in that.
Also ethnic. What a ridiculous.
Yes, I was,
Ridiculous.
but that's what they said. So I did everything I can to curtail who I was.
Yeah.
My voice, you're too New York, you're too this, you're too that, you're too that, you're too this. And I tried to keep fitting my size 9 foot into a size 6, and dainty little, that
Mhm.
wasn't my thing. And it really is incredible, because you and I talk about this all the time, because my big like break into the business was Summer of Sam
Yeah.
with Spike Lee. And I play a character named Ruby, who is, she's a kid from the boroughs, and it's about the son of Sam, and in the neighborhood, and she's in CBGBs, and she's gonna be a rock star. Like, she's got this thing.
Mhm.
But I came on the scene in that movie and burst, like, it was like boom, because I just came from acting school, and yes, I was working, but not in this capacity where I was able to actually do what I was capable of.
Yeah.
Actually had the role, and I like was thrust out. So that fire that they saw, that I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, I
Oh, yeah.
love it. Then they get it, and they're like, shrink it, smaller, curtail that. Wait a minute, this whole energy that we loved. No. And it's really amazing, because you and I talk about this all the
Yep.
time. You give children,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
be a ballerina, be this, do art, and then a certain time you're like, stop playing.
Grow up now.
Grow up.
Grow
You
up
have
now.
to go
You're
to
done
and
with
get
that.
this and to get the education. And what happens to play? And I had to squash everything that made people like me in the beginning.
I think it's like this in life in general. It's like, let's say you fall in love with someone, and all the things you love about them, unless you're evolving and changing and two like very aware people, it can be that the thing you love about them, or the things you love about them start to be the things you resent.
Yes.
And so similarly in the industry,
yes.
and you come onto the scene, you like knock everyone dead. You are a powerhouse with all this fire, and they're like, yes, oh my God, who's that?
Yep.
And then they're like, let's make her as small as possible to fit in.
That's exactly it. So that picture, I was taking new headshots, And they told me to be more all-American. So what's
Wow.
more all-American than standing in a pane door with your bleach blonde hair like, look at me, I'm white.
I'm white.
I'm white.
Here
Am I
am.
accepted yet?
I'm so white. My hair and my face and my insides are saying what you need.
I told you the story about I was on one movie. I told you this, and you were like, what? I was on one movie. It was right around that time.
Yeah.
And I was the lead with the opposite the dude. Don't anybody get crazy.
Come on, she
don't
was the lead.
don't
Just
anybody-
dance.
don't, what?
Just
30-second dance party.
Come on. Somebody screwed that up.
she can't be the lead.
She's just a girl.
Oh, she can't be the lead.
She can't be the lead.
We wouldn't want her to.
No,
She
she's
got nothing
just
to
a girl.
say, stuff to do.
Okay.
Yes, that was good.
Let's
so
go back.
tell us more.
Let's go back.
So you were,
So I was the sidekick
of course you were.
to this dude, and it was a comedy. It was for kids, whatever, and it was for kids, by the way. And they, first of all, I never forget this. I was, it was right after 9/11, and my cousin and I were like stranded in Italy.
Yeah.
We had just gone over to Italy, and 9/11 happened. Both of our fathers were in the building. It was horrifying. They got out, but it was a horrifying couple of days.
Of course.
And then had to get home. And literally on the way home, and it was like 2 days after the event, I got a call from my agent. It was like, you got an offer for this movie. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Are we still making movies?
we're
Planes are
still
falling
doing
out of
that
the
right
sky.
now? Okay.
They're falling out of the sky and banging into buildings, and a lot of people are
Priorities.
dead. So when am I leaving? Like what? What are we talking about? And it was a movie for children, so I was like, I felt like this is what I can do is try and
Yeah.
bring. So I had a niece at the time, and she was like, "You have to take a plane. Can you walk there?" It was just a horrible time, as everyone knows. So I thought I felt so helpless. Maybe this is what I can do: make
Yeah.
people laugh. Okay. So I went, and I had lost so much weight because I was so scared. It was such a scary time, and like I said, we were trapped in Italy for a minute and couldn't get back. And I walked in to meet the costume designer, and literally, she
I'm
said
already
to
getting
me,
angry.
"Yeah," she said to me, she's like, "Now you're gonna be a huge star. Look how thin you are."
Just dance.
Just dance,
Just
baby.
dance.
You can't change it. Just dance.
You're gonna be a star.
You're gonna be a star.
Everyone's gonna love you.
You're so thin now.
Okay.
Awesome.
That's horrible.
Then it gets better.
Tell us more.
Then, and she, like, is she a horrible human being? No, but that's where we were at the time, and I was literally like this. It was pretty sad. And as a kid, I was like, oh, okay, right, oh, okay. And then I filmed my first day, and the producer came over to me and said, "We're going to send you to the dentist." And I was like, "What? Why?" And you see these white, nice teeth, all the same size, like chiclet teeth. And if you can't see, I'll just let you know. Look at chiclets, and those chiclet teeth. And they basically, I had a huge Lauren Hutton space in the middle, which I honestly, if there's a dentist out there that wants to help me get it
I
back,
keep saying.
I want to get it back.
Yeah, no,
I
you
want.
need to get it
I feel
back.
like I would be reclaiming myself. I used to have a huge space in the middle of my teeth and a few other spaces. I didn't have a perfect smile. And since the camera was here and can't have an unperfect perfect person, and they sent me to the dentist, and within 24 hours,
They were like, let's knock out your teeth.
the amount of dental work,
yeah.
they bonded everything, and I had this like,
Well, you don't have chiclet teeth. Your teeth are beautiful. But to
Thanks,
take
Kat.
away something that is so
Personality.
uniquely you
Yep.
and that is
Yep.
literally part of your body. Like to
Yep.
put those teeth, you're knocking teeth out. You're shaving them
but,
down.
But just think about that. Just think about what I'm saying. So I was told in that 2 days
Oh yeah.
that now you're thin enough, and now we're going to give you the perfect teeth. So
Yeah.
now you'll be able to go on.
Right.
And I mean, like I said, I jumped out of Summer of Sam. I was this ball of fire character, and you liked that, and
Right.
now you were changing everything about me.
Everything about her. And
Yeah, it
also,
was really sad.
how can you keep up with being that ball of fire when everything you're doing and are is picked apart?
Exactly.
That makes you incredibly self-conscious, and you can't do the job.
I told you, I saw pictures of me during that time and then onward, and I just became like, what can I do? How can I
Am I
show
perfect
up
yet?
perfect? And it really, really was really a hard thing to, cause I wasn't fooling anyone. I was not fooling anybody, because who I was who I was.
And that's it's like,
And I was told that
why do you have
wasn't-
to fool anyone?
I was told that was not right.
not appropriate
Yes.
to be a big star,
Yes.
even though
And I didn't care about a star. I just wanted the good roles.
no, but I'm saying that's what they're saying.
yes.
In order for you to get to this level, which is like to be a big
Yes.
star, to be a
Yes.
famous
Yes.
big time actress, like you have to be this, and you're like, but wait a minute, I just came out, I just wowed all of you,
Yeah.
showing you what I can do, and now you are picking
Well,
me.
Yeah. And then there
to
were
pieces.
other wonderful things that happened. But pick another picture.
That sounds fun. Great. Okay,
Yeah.
the business sounds nice. Let's go back in time. Down here, I want her.
Which one?
Her.
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
That was, I think I was, so we're looking at a picture. I have a unibrow. If you
Thank
look
God.
closely, I have a unibrow. I was with my dad in that picture. And I had to be maybe 16, really trying to get off Staten Island. Like, since I was a kid, I was like, I gotta get out of here. But in that moment, I was like, yeah, running from like mafia girls, and like,
Wow.
that's where the whole Fresh Kills came from, was back then. But but yeah, I thought putting baby oil on my skin was a great idea back then.
It wasn't?
No,
Oh.
no, you're not supposed to do that to get as tan.
To get a tan.
There was like this.
You're frying yourself.
There was this unspoken like contest
yeah, to see
in
yeah.
school who can get tanner.
Well, back then we didn't really know about protecting ourselves from the
You
sun.
knew nothing.
Yeah, we knew nothing about
I
nothing.
I always loved it because it was like there was an actual, commercial that was like, it's 5 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are? It's like, no, nobody knew.
No,
I liked it. I thought it was great.
it was a different
You were
time.
out. You were out.
You were off your damn phone. There were no phones.
That's
there were no
right.
cell phones.
That's
You had
right.
to show
That's
up when you
right.
said you were going to show up. Okay.
That's right.
I want to know about. Can we wait? Pull back. Okay. Now I'm in the way. Hold on. Her bathing suit.
Oh, that kid. So I had to be maybe that picture. I was probably, I don't know, 6.
I love her.
No, 4, 5. I don't know. But yeah, she was
She's cool.
this is, yeah. I say I'm her again. Like, it's nice to see her because she went away for a very long time. That like feisty kid who had like a lot of dreams and like was like, no, I'm gonna do it. But that's what I mean. You put that away at a certain point.
Yeah.
As you go through life, you put that away and you take on this adult thing. And one of these amazing sayings is what I based my classes on and my school on, is the creative adult is the child that survived.
Yeah.
And I really, really believe that. Like, I genuinely believe that. That's why I teach the way I do, with getting back to who you were before the conditioning,
And finding your
to
voice
create
again.
from there.
Yeah.
And just for you as a person, but yeah, I mean, you could see it because you see that picture. Where'd it go?
Which
Oh,
one?
that one.
Oh yeah, her.
See,
I know her.
That one. That
Yeah,
girl.
yeah.
See that, if you look at that and look at the last picture, and we're talking about a picture where I'm like winking at the camera, and it was recent. If you look at that person and then look at the last one of me as a 6-year-old in
Oh,
the
yeah.
bikini,
Yeah.
that's the same
Full
girl.
circle, coming back
Full
around.
circle.
Well, it's
full
funny
circle.
because I've really only known
Yeah.
bikini and wink
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
and you have told me that in the past all of those things like playing certain parts for certain people for an industry, and now you're finally here and bringing it back to Fresh Kills.
Yes. Fresh Kills.
What?
I wrote it. I produced it. I directed it.
She was in it.
I was in it. Oh, I don't think I said we're gonna have to go back and edit in. I paid
Oh yes,
mostly for it,
yes, that's
and I'm
yes.
paying for it.
And
Can I get an amen?
Oh wait,
Oh,
to turn it on
what
and ready.
is-
Just
what is
30
wrong?
second dance.
She
Dance.
is not allowed to have this anymore. What is wrong with you?
Just
You've got to put
dance.
it back on.
I can't remember everything.
That's right.
This is how we party.
Okay. You're not. No. You're not touching it
She's
anymore.
not allowed.
No, you're not allowed. You
She's
got to
not
put
allowed.
it back on when you shut it off.
Okay.
Damn it.
So many rules here in the
But
podcast.
yes, Fresh Kills. I mean, we can do a whole
Well, we will.
a whole thing about Fresh Kills, a whole season.
A whole season. Yeah.
No, because
season 2.
because I mean, like I said, it was so transformational for me in so many ways to make that movie, and I almost didn't make that movie so many times, and then when I did make that movie, it almost never saw the light of day, and still to have it be so pushed aside, all that aside, what it did for me as a human being, as an artist, as a person, I have literally changed my cellular structure.
Yeah.
Like I know I did. I walk through the world differently now.
Yeah.
It's just the truth.
Yeah.
It gave that little girl in that bathing suit back her ability to dream and dream big.
Yeah.
Because from that kid onward, I was told I wasn't allowed. I couldn't do it. You'll never do it. You're too this. You're too that. You're different. You're this. All the things that I was told to break a spirit, to break a human, and to break an artist's creativity and what you're allowed and what you're not allowed to do as a woman.
Yeah.
And I took a chance on myself, and it was not easy, and it took very many years to get to that place, but
Yeah.
I was so deeply, painfully unhappy, and I just thought I had to say to myself, and I tell all artists, seriously, you have to, there's something you want to do, and I'm not even going to say artists, I'm going to say anybody out there.
Yes.
Anybody. If there is something that you want to do,
Yeah.
you really have to sit with yourself and ask yourself this question. This is what I did. I actually said, if you go out of this world, are you okay with not trying to do this? And the answer was no, it isn't. I'm not okay. I can't. I would not be okay if I didn't at least try.
Well, and I like what you've told me before. You did it for.
I did it for the kid that got destroyed in the early part of her career, and that's a
Yeah.
whole other story. But yeah, I did it for the 26-year-old kid who got destroyed by a powerhouse of a producer. I did it for her. I did it for that kid who had dreams, the kid in the bathing suit.
Well, in a way, you did it for all the previous versions of you.
100%.
And so now you call yourself an artist.
Yes, and even still, I do hear myself say it, and I get like, oh, am I allowed that title? Or I said filmmaker, and I was even say, oh, am I allowed that title? And it's like, yes, Jennifer, I
Yeah.
think you're allowed that title
Yeah.
right now. And not that a title matters at all, but to me, even if I'm just able to say it,
Yeah.
that's fine. But yeah.
Well, did the little girl in the bathing suit, did she know that she wanted to be an artist? And who did she think she would be?
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
That little kid, if you stood still long enough, I was like, watch this. Look, ba-da-ba-ba.
I can do this, and I can do that, and I can do
I was
this.
jumping off the couch. I was like, we're going to do a play. You're all going to watch. And it'd be like, oh, my God.
Again?
And then I'd get like, no, you have to watch. Why are you not watching? Yeah, I was that kid.
And
I
what
was-
about writing, though?
Oh,
When
no,
did
ri-
that come
writing
into the
came-
orbit for you?
Writing came so long ago, so
Recently,
so recently. But it did start with celiac disease, and I wrote a book called Jennifer's Way.
Best-selling book.
New York,
New York
Times
Times
bestseller.
bestseller.
Thank you very much. And I think it's because I was speaking very honestly about something people weren't speaking about yet,
Yeah.
which was celiac disease and how women are like gaslit
Yeah.
in medical, in the medical field when you go and you're like, hey, I have such and such. Yeah. So yeah, I did. I wrote a book, but the writing over time to write this movie, it took a very long time, but I don't know what I would do now without writing.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of the stuff I based the teaching in for my school, Rebel Collective. Writing is what I think it's Hemingway that says writing is a way to allow yourself to bleed without bleeding. I'm sure I'm butchering it, but it is the truth.
Sounds like Hemingway.
Yeah, it's the truth though. It's like it's everything to me.
Well, I know that when I'm not getting like 9,000 memes from you, that you are immersed in a world, and
Yep.
there's a lot that you're working
Yes,
on right
yes,
now as far
yes.
as writing is concerned.
Yes.
Wait, where are we at time? Because I had
Yeah,
more questions.
Well, we have to wrap it up, but
we could do like a 2-part on this, because I
Yeah.
have questions about the woman in the yellow dress with the apple,
there's
or
so
the
many.
pear.
There's so many. But why don't you leave them with the trailer? See, she was gonna forget. She's not a nice person.
I was not going to
She's not a-
forget. I just got wrapped up in the pear. So I don't know if you know this, but Jen made a movie called Fresh Kills.
I made a movie called Fresh Kills. I wrote it, directed it,
was in it,
produced
it, put
Well,
all the money into it.
Thank you,
And
thank you. And I'd really like for you to watch it.
for all the versions of herself that were told what she could and could not do, she made a really
I
remarkable
appreciate it.
film.
I appreciate it, but honestly, it you really should see it because it has very little to do with mafia. It has all to do with what we're talking about here.
Yep.
It's about finding your voice in a world that tells you not to have one. So we will see you next episode, but we're going to play the trailer.
Roll that trailer.
Thank you.
Everything I do is for the betterment of my girls. Don't you know that? Don't you trust me?
Con, is Dad an honest man?
An honest man.
Where'd
Where'd you get that from, Rose? A man that gives you everything.
Some questions are just better left unanswered. He doesn't do things right all the time, but he does them for the right reasons. Our families came in with nothing. You're led to believe that things are fair here. They're not. Certain point in your life, and you gotta accept that things aren't gonna work out the way you dreamt they were.
What's wrong with you? I'm trying to protect you!
What do you want to do, Rose?
We're gonna be husband and wife. We're gonna have kids. Your father's getting us the house.
Well, maybe I don't want a house for my father.
You wanna know who your people are? Your family is your people. Step up and realize that, or you won't have one.
Go to bed. Everything's okay.
No, it's not okay, girls. It's not okay. Look what he's done to his family.
I know exactly who Dad is. I always have. It's my father.
I know I'm supposed to be the good little girl, have respect, live by the rules in this world that I did not choose.
I'm your father.